Hi everyone, I'm Hester and in this workshop I'll be showing you how to make plant pigment, paint with it and make anthotype prints. So I'll go through what you need to do it, show you some examples and then talk through the anthotypes and then also do a couple of paintings just so you can see how I do it. Okay, let's get started. What you'll need to do this is a pestle and mortar or something to grind down the plant pigment with. Some scissors to cut it up, just to make your life a little bit easier. Some muslin cloth, as you can see mine is very used, but just anything to strain it. If you've only got like some scrap fabric, that should probably be fine. You need some plants. What I've got here are some kind of old camellia flowers. I just pick them off the ground because there've been quite a lot in Falmouth recently. I tend not to pick like still growing plants, try to leave them, only use them if they're in abundance. Obviously be respectful, don't start picking people's prize plants out of their garden. You can find a lot, obviously it's seasonal, so depending on what plants are about it'll change the colour of the pigment you're making, which I think is quite nice. I've also got some gorse flowers, which is literally everywhere all over the coast at the moment. Really nice yellow. Just something to point out, they don't, just because a flower is pink doesn't mean it will necessarily make a pink pigment. So you've just got to have a play around, really, see what colours you get. That's why I like doing it so much, it's a bit of fun, surprise factor. You also need some jars and things to contain your pigment in, just anything airtight should be fine. Some paintbrushes, some water just to water it down a little bit, and then for the anthotypes you'll need some sort of dry flowers or something flat to put over your print. You'll need a clip frame. So here I've got some in progress. I've got my pigment paintings on paper and then some flowers over the top. Pop them in the clip frame like this and put them in a sunny space in your garden. And then the sunlight, if it's sunny enough, will expose the pigment because it's not light fast, it will fade in sunlight, and that will create lovely prints like these two I've got, which are just flowers I made last year. And then lastly, for both the anthotypes and the painting, you'll need some paper. I tend to use the most absorbent paper I can find, just because the pigment really sits in and gets soaked up. Otherwise, if you use like printing paper or really thin paper, it might just run off the page and you don't quite get the same effect. But you've really just got to see what you've got to work with, play around a bit, and you should get some cool results. Some examples here. So these two are camellia flowers, which are pink, but obviously the pigment has come out yellowy, orangey rust colour, which I really like. Got some rose petals, lovely, lovely pink, so obviously that's very close to the colour of the actual petals. Got some aloe vera, which just happened by chance. I had a leaf and made it into pigment. Got some nasturtium flowers from last year, that makes another lovely orange colour. And then some harebells, which is this beautiful blue. Again, just whatever you have around. You can plant flowers specifically to make into pigment. I'm growing a couple of different things this year. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to make some pigment with the gorse flowers, just to show you how I do it. We'll pop these all in here. These have been picked a couple of weeks ago, so they're starting to dry out now, but that's completely fine. You can pick them, dry them out, store them until you want to use them, or you can use them fresh. So I've just added a little bit of water there, loosen it up a bit. Now it will take a minute or so just to break this down. pigments together. You can just play around, make new colours. That can be quite fun. Okay, that should probably be fine. Get my little ramekin, my muslin, which I definitely need to put in the wash at some point. And just get all of that fibre and all of the liquid out. And then you want to squeeze it through the muslin and get as much liquid out as possible, because all of that is pigment that you can use. There we go. So now you're ready to paint with it. Got a few old paintbrushes here that don't really matter. A bit scruffy, but that's fine. So with some, you'll really be able to tell if they're going to give out strong pigment straight away, and then with others, they'll really surprise you once they're dry. I know from doing previous ones that the gorse flowers, you have to do a few layers with them, but if you put the time in, they're really beautiful after a few layers. So yeah, I'm kind of just like doing a little square here, with applying quite a lot just so it gets darker. And then I tend to leave these overnight, obviously depending on how much pigment you put on the page, it will take a different amount of time to dry. But if you want it to be darker, leave it overnight to dry and then just add more. You can even add a different colour over the top, layer it up, things like that. So that's that one. And then I'll do another one with this camellia petals, which will turn out like that, so very dark, even though it doesn't quite seem it at first. Yeah, it comes out really pale on the page, but after leaving it overnight and adding another layer, it comes out very beautiful and deep. So you definitely need to have a little bit of patience, experiment around, just be playful, and then it can really pay off. And just for fun, I'm just going to add a little bit. This pigment has been sitting for, I think, a couple of days, so already it's kind of darkened in colour, literally just from aging and oxidisation. It's just gone from the pinky yellow to a dark orangey colour. So patience really is key. It will pay off, definitely. So yeah, I've done those two. I'll leave them overnight, and they should come out a sort of orangey, lovely colour, in which then, like these ones, so this is gorse, this is camellia, I'll be able to pop them into frames. It's starting to get sunny now, still not every day of sun, but once it gets warmer I'll have a good collection to be able to pop in a frame, leave outside for a good few days, if not sometimes even a week, and then expose and create some lovely anthracite prints. So I hope you enjoyed this workshop and have a lot of fun foraging and making pigment out of plants. It's great to kind of have a sustainable way of being creative and having fun and respecting the environment. around us. So yeah, thank you very much.